Hi everyone, my name is Amanda. I am 34. I am a mother of two, a single mother of two currently. So I have been on a weight loss journey and overall health journey for about a year and a half now. I started February of 2024. And I originally started because I recall playing in the yard with my son and just feeling this belly that kept essentially just like bouncing when I was trying to run and play in the snow with him. And I had been feeling for a while like, like my health wasn't top notch, wasn't where I wanted it to be. I knew that I was a little heavier, but I was like, well, I'm getting older, it is what it is. And I will definitely attack my health in a more centered kind of fashion at some point in time. I used to work out when I worked at LA Fitness off and on for 9 years, and I've always had an interest in fitness, and I have a general desire to be healthy. But when I had my children, I knew that I wanted to put more time into focusing on them than I did want to on working out. Unfortunately, it didn't really happen that way. I made some left choices, and I got myself into a really unhealthy place in life all over, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, psychologically, just all the things. I was pretty much as unhealthy as one could be, actually. It resulted in drastic, very quick weight loss in a very unhealthy way. And then when I got myself to a point of like a level playing field in 2018, I was just in a really bad place, a shell of who I am, who I was just as a person, as a whole. I was unhealthy in every single way, mainly mentally and emotionally, psychologically. So that was the first step to getting back to a healthy lifestyle. There was a lot of big changes, a lot. It's not really my point and purpose of making this video right now, though, because I'm more focusing on health and fitness in a physical form. So I guess that's for another video, another time, whatever. So anyways, last year when I started, I was about 170 pounds, and I am 5'1", barely 5'1.5". So yeah, I was rocking some extra weight and not rocking it well. It was not muscle, it was fat. So I also have fibromyalgia, and that has a big effect on me in many different ways. When I was diagnosed, I wanted to reassess my whole diet and sleep, and just to make sure that I could kind of make changes that I knew were feasible. So that helped me to manage my symptoms pretty well. But I would still occasionally, and I still do occasionally, get flare-ups. So part of my reason, again, for getting on this health journey last February was to have better management of my fibromyalgia, as well as losing weight, losing fat. For myself, for my kids, I didn't want to develop diabetes and, just go down that path. And I wanted to feel good about myself when I looked in the mirror. I kind of got to a point where I was looking in the mirror and I was just accepting what was there, not loving it, not really liking it, but just, well, it is what it is. Just nothing I can do about it today. And that's where I stayed for a while. And I wasn't really sure where to start my journey of losing weight and getting in shape. I always wanted to be a runner, hated running, so really didn't do that. Didn't have any workout materials, didn't really have the time, not really the means to go to the gym. Didn't really have the desire to make the means to go to the gym. I had a basement, a really crappy basement, a couple of dumbbells, and by couple I mean like 4, some 25 pounders and some 5 pounders, one 8-pound kettlebell. But I really had this desire and this drive to start somewhere. So I did, you know, a lot of research, a lot of watching random videos online. And I decided that I would just start out by walking on my lunch breaks. The sun was starting to shine a little more in February. It was still cold. There was snow on the ground, but not a lot of it. So I just decided that on my lunch breaks for work that I would just take a walk. There's a little, kind of like an elderly community development across from my house. And if you do 3 laps around, it's a little over a mile. So I was like, no problem, I can do that. So that's what I started doing. I started doing that once a week, a couple times a week. I do have a dog, little Frenchie. She's on my bed. She kind of looks like a stuffed animal, and she's blending in with my yarn. Because I'm going to be knitting little blankets for my son's fugglers. Anybody ever heard of fugglers? Are these really freaking ugly little poor excuse for a stuffed animal? But my kids are way into them right now, so we got to make the blankets, and it's like a thing. Anyways, so walking is what I could do. So that's what I started with. And then I decided to start running small distances. And when I mean small distances, I mean like 2 houses and then walk again, and like then another 2 houses and then walk again. And then I started making, you know, small food changes. My thing with food is, you know, for me, it was super financially difficult to really put the extra money into buying the top protein, the grass-fed proteins, the beautiful looking and fresh fruits and veggies, not the frozen. My kids are extremely picky eaters. I don't know how, since I love absolutely everything to a fault. But so it's just easier, honestly, and it really is cheaper to buy the more crappy food, and it's easier for me to kind of just finish what's on my kids' plates, and kind of graze over that. And then I don't know, I was just really not doing myself any favors with my diet. So I started really honing in on how to get protein and fiber in. Didn't really know anything about macros, so didn't try to do anything there, just was starting real small. And then as I started running more, I started getting more stamina, started, you know, running more. I started looking up on YouTube these little videos to do for, you know, just some simple workouts. So I found this great YouTuber, Fit by Mick, and she kind of does more like a Pilates or like a dumbbell with HIIT workouts, but I found that really helpful. And I started out with 10-minute workouts, and then started getting up to, you know, eventually getting up to the 40 and 45-minute workouts. Started running, getting up to a mile, was running almost a mile every day. By April, was running about a mile every day, not realizing that that's not really normal to run a mile every day. So I really started feeling that in my knees and hips pretty quick. Joined a Facebook group about just like working out for beginners, and just put on a basic post of, hey, trying to get some knowledge, trying to go somewhere with this. Any tips, pointers would be appreciated. And this one woman reached out and commented back and started giving me some great pointers. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is great. And then found out that she had a page all about fitness. She had lost 50 pounds, kept it off. Also a mom, young kids, older kids as well. But just what I loved and what I love about her is she lives a very average lifestyle in the sense that she's not training for a show. She doesn't look like a bodybuilder. She looks fit. She looks healthy. She looks happy. And she's relatable and real. She's not about, oh, you ate cake today? Shame on you. You're really slowing yourself down. No, she's like, oh, you had cake? Okay, well, cool. So, when are you going to get your workout in, you know? So just realizing that, no, I'm not going to cut out cake for the rest of my life, because I'm at a birthday party and someone's having cake. I want a piece of cake. I like cake. But there's a difference between liking cake and having it at a birthday party and having 2 servings of cake, or, you know, buying cake as like a regular weekly staple, or having cake every night as a dessert after dinner, which I really actually wasn't doing. And so that's, you know, another reason why I was pretty frustrated and confused, because I felt like I was semi-healthy. It's, you know, I wasn't having ice cream for dessert every night or even every week. I wasn't having McDonald's every week. I wasn't doing all these things that I find that a lot of people actually do, that leads to more unwanted results. But I wasn't doing a lot of that. And I was like, I just don't understand, you know, how all these pieces fit together. So she really helped put together a lot of those pieces for me. Really just understand little missing components, which helped me map out a plan, a goal, wherever I felt like the piece, there's something missing that I'm not quite catching here. She just really helped me understand and fine-tune those details. So I got to a point then where I was asking her questions, where I was really focusing on my diet as far as maxing out my protein and fiber. I was running like every other day then, and then on the off days I was doing my workouts just online, and I saw a lot of improvement. From February to September, I lost 20 pounds. I did quite a bit of body recomp. I have a lovely daughter, so pause for one moment. Yes, dear. Great. I'm just making a video.
For who?
For the world. And anybody who cares.
What are you posting it on?
YouTube.
Why?
Because I feel there is a lot of people just like me who might want to, you know, share some information, gain some info from my walk, maybe help keep me accountable. I also have a son, and he is 8. Yes.
Hello.
There he is. What would you like? Your phone is right over there on my bed.
Can you like cut this part out?
What would you like?
How do you post things on YouTube, first of all?
Well, that is to be determined. Is there something I can help you with for right now? Hugs are always good for health. At any walk and stage, in anyone's health journey, hugs are good. In fact, you're supposed to have 8 seconds of human contact a day, in case you didn't know. All right, give me a couple more minutes, please.
Can I start your bed?
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, so I made a lot of progress, which was great. And then in September, I went to the annual family beach trip that we have with my family. And I was feeling really good. You know, I looked different than I did last year, that's for sure, a lot different. I was really proud of myself, but I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. I had a goal. I started out with some goals of just general health and wellness, general fitness. And then I met some of those goals, and then I had different goals. Then once I started to see some body recomp and some weight loss, I felt, just a lot healthier. I had better stamina with running. I had gotten stronger. I could definitely feel that. And I just felt a lot better about myself. Brain fog had cleared up a lot. And then, I went to the beach and I decided to take that week, not off completely, because I still did run at the beach and I still did make some, I didn't just go hog wild because I was at the beach. I feel like you can always find an excuse to eat in ways that is not right, or to not work out. You can always find an excuse to not do those. I'm at the beach this week. I have company in town. I have a really big meeting this week. It was just a really stressful week. That is life. Life is just an accumulation of all those events constantly happening. The norm of, what we might think of a norm as a light week with not a lot going on is not really a norm. That doesn't happen a lot, really. It's far and few in between. I feel like it shouldn't be, but it just is, especially in my stage in life where both my kids play sports and we have school and school things going on, and, just trying to really map out more of my career. So anyways, once I came back from the beach, it was a little difficult to get back into my normal routine of everything, but it was fine. And then with the holidays coming up, I was a little nervous. And then also in September, I ended up having a fibro flare-up, which affected a lot of different areas of my life, just my health. I think my hormone levels were just all out of whack as well. Different reasons that I think of that. Just my cycle was way off. So yeah, I said, let me just go into a maintenance phase. So I had gone from about 170 to 150, 148, 150. And I'd gone into a maintenance phase. And then in that maintenance phase, I even went down to 147. And then in January, I decided that I really wanted to kind of get back into things, and I really wanted to lose 10 more pounds. Fast forward to now, it is July. I still want to lose those 10 pounds. So what's happened from January to July? The fact that I haven't been able to lose a pound. And last year from February to September, I lost 20. So I decided to hire on this woman who was coaching me in my health here and there. I decided to fully hire her on as a trainer. And we did a reverse diet, which was great because I had gotten down to eating like 1,500 calories as a weekly average. And really, I think that might have been partially the reason why I went into a fibro flare-up, because my body, I was working out a lot and, pretty much every day. And then I would get really tired, and then I would miss like a week because I was like just so overworked, undernourished, and I wasn't really seeing those results that I wanted anymore. So decided to hire her. And we decided that we would do a reverse diet, which, I would say from my own research, I find that about 50% of people say that that's great. 50% of people say that's a myth. I found that it is great. I think it's phenomenal. I think a lot of people should do it if you're at a point where your metabolism is kind of slowed down. If you are at a point where you really can't go in a deficit because you're already eating so little as it is, and you can't eat any less, but you still want to lose more fat. So we, like, week by week went up 50 to 100 calories to the point where I went from about 15 up to 2,300 as a weekly average. And that doesn't mean 2,300 a day. That, I am calorie cycling, so some days I'll eat like 17, other days I'll eat 24, but so it all equals out. So then when did we stop that? Once I got up to my 2,300, I had also been heavy lifting So I was building just like straight muscle, and not really working to lose any fat. So when did I stop that? I want to say a month and a half maybe. But I haven't lost anything since. And I think one of the main reasons for that is also another fibro flare up, which has really messed me up as well. I don't know if it's because I went into the deficit and my body was like, whoa, what are you doing now? You were eating great at 2,300, and then I went down slowly. I went to 19 and then 18 and then 17, but I don't know. Still stuff I would like to figure out why I get fibro flare-ups when I don't have them. It's like I forget I have it. I'm like, do I really even have it? Is it really... It's like that invisible disease, and it's neurological. So, it's not like there's any real quantifiable or measurable reason of what's happening or why it's happening. It just is. And when I say that, I guess that's pretty broad, pretty vague. There's a lot of pain, a lot of inflammation, a lot of fatigue, very difficult to sleep because it's a constant... It's not a dull ache. It's a constant, intense ache that's just, it's exhausting. It's constantly there. It is very, very painful in your face. Very difficult to work. Very difficult to go down the stairs, to fix dinner. It's just tough. It's really tough. And there's brain fog that comes with that. And there's, sometimes it's really hard for me to even speak because I can't think straight and I can't think about what I want to say. And that's so frustrating to know kind of in your brain what you want to say, but your brain can't form the words because you can't think of them to communicate them. It's extremely frustrating. And then it just makes me feel dumb. And I know I'm not dumb. So anyways, I'd still like to figure out what's going on there. I'm going to be getting a panel done for hormones to see where my levels are at. I'm going to the doctors later on in this month because I'd like to see, I've kind of gotten to this place where I'm like, the fibro is what it is. There's really nothing to be done about it except general health maintenance, but maybe there is more to be done, or maybe there's more going on with me that I don't know about, so I'm just gonna kind of put myself at the forefront a little more than I have, and instead of just getting my kids to the doctors all the time, make sure that I get there and kind of see what's going on. So anyways, I am at a place now where my weight loss has seemed to stall, and I think, the fibro flare-up is a huge reason. But I also think that I might be cheating myself more than I realize. I love food. I love eating. It has always been a thing with me for as long as I can remember. Food consumes my mind so much. I mean, I'm talking, I would go to sleepovers, vacations with friends, and I would be just genuinely uncomfortable because I was just so hungry and just wanted to eat. And, feeling either embarrassed to eat, or like, nobody else seems to be this hungry. Nobody else seems to be thinking of food as much as I do. People seem to be satisfied with the meal that we just had and then not feel the need to go back for more. And for me, I just always remember feeling hungry. And, even now with my health journey, my mind is constantly on food, whether it is thinking about what I want to eat, thinking about what I shouldn't eat, thinking about, what's my next meal going to be? What am I going to plan out for my meals this week? Whether it is healthy food, unhealthy food, a good thought process, a bad thought process, my mind is consumed by food a lot. I don't like that. I hate admitting that. I don't know if it's something that is a secret or just, something that everybody has kind of sensed about me. You know, when there's something that you know about yourself, and so it's always on your mind, and you're like, I'm not sure if anybody else realizes this, or it's just me, and it's a huge deal to me. So I don't know if, you know, everybody else sees and senses that I freaking love food and love to eat, or if it's just me because I'm always thinking about it. It's always on my mind. Anyways, so that being said, I don't know if I'm cheating myself without realizing it. I use food as a reward, for sure. I use it for coping, for sure. You know, if I had a stressful day at work, perfect example, the other week I made a huge mistake at work. Super upset. So what did I do on my lunch break? Ate every piece of cookie dough out of the chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. Nothing left but vanilla ice cream and chocolate chips. Those cookie doughs were in my belly. So yeah. And then, you know, it's like I'm trying to find any reason to eat all the things. So if I go somewhere where I know there's going to be all the things, I'm like, I'm eating all the things. Just straight up, I've already made that decision. It's very rare where I go somewhere and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat a little of what I know I should eat. When I'm at home and during the week, I prepare myself, my meals and everything. I can be really, really disciplined and make really, really healthy meals and hit my macros and hit my fiber and my protein and just all, you know, I can be great with that. When I am stressed, when I feel like I've earned the right to eat that pizza or whatever, it's like it's what I wait for in life. And I don't like that, but you know, that's what it is. So, you know, a huge part of me making this video is to really get a broader sense of what my eating habits are. I track everything in my FitnessPal, but to go back and look at everything day by day and month by month and really kind of food map a little bit, that's a lot. And it's not visual enough for me to really get a good sense of what I'm trying to get a good sense of right now. So I've been trying to think of ways, you know, first I was like, maybe I'll make a calendar and put an X on all the days where I cheated. And then I can be like, oh, that's a lot of X's that month. Or like, oh, it's not, I'm being too hard on myself. So I was like, you know, maybe I'm just going to make some videos, you know, maybe like a channel, maybe like another YouTube page or another Instagram account where it's just for sharing what I'm doing, how it's working out, what's not working out, you know, have a little solidarity, hopefully have some conversations with people who go through the same things, who have tips and tricks, you know, just reasons why people join any type of groups about things that are going on with your life. Maybe that's what this could be as well. I would like to start a dialogue with others and myself to really take a good, raw, honest look at what I'm doing, where I'm going, what's going to be working out, what's not, and really see progress. I just want to lose these last 10 pounds. That's my goal, my short-term goal, but my long-term and my huge overall goal is to be healthier as a whole, to maintain sustainable health, to be able to fit that in my lifestyle in a way that makes sense, in a way where I do get to go to different events and partake in delicious food, when I do get to travel and partake in cultural food, when I do get to go to my Italian family get-togethers and not have to be so anxious about all of the temptations there, you know, the mountains of carbs and the sea of sodium infused meats and cheeses and the barrels of wine and all the things. So today's day one. I just got home from New Jersey, where I'm from originally, where my family is, and I get very anxious going there because there's so much there that I don't normally eat, and that just makes it harder. There's a lot of willpower to exhaust, and I don't always have it. And I'm tired a lot as it is, just because of fibro and just raising 2 kids by myself. I'm tired a lot as it is, and so food is one of the ways that I reward myself. And it's not a reward I want for myself really anymore. I want to have a healthier relationship with food as a whole. I want to look the way I want to look in a bathing suit, in high top jeans and a cropped tank top. I love fashion. I've always loved fashion. I want to wear certain things and look a certain way in it. And I want to be healthy. I don't want to get diabetes. I don't want to get hypertension. I don't want to be in bed because I have all this inflammation from eating the wrong way, from not, stretching and keeping my muscle memory positive and active. So yeah, that's, those are the long-term continuous goals. So my goal for this, or my plan for this rather, is to check in every single day, to keep myself accountable, to really just take things step by step, day by day. Today, I didn't do great. I didn't do terrible. So let's see, for breakfast, I had, I wouldn't say it's my best breakfast for me. It was almond milk, but it was vanilla flavored because that's what was where I was. It wasn't unsweetened. So, and I had that with oats and crunches, cereal. I did not look at how much sugar was in it. And I had that with half a banana. Bananas, I try to do sparingly. I do like the potassium in them, but they're high in carbs and sugar. And if I'm going to do a fruit, I'd rather do like the berries and the heart healthy ones, or the vitamin C ones. But, half a banana, that's okay. And then I had on the road, I had a cheese stick wrapped in prosciutto. It's one of my favorites when I'm hitting the gas station and I need a little something. In the car, I had a plant-based muscle milk protein shake. I took my son, Jax, to a birthday party, and they had pizza. And that was a thing for me. Do I indulge in the pizza? Do I not? How much pizza do I have if I indulge? So I was hungry. I really hadn't eaten much, so I had calories that I could use. So I had a piece of pizza. Cheese pizza from Papa John's. Wanted to dip it in the garlic sauce. Did not. So that's positive, isn't it? It's a win. And then didn't have a cupcake. Really wanted one. Didn't have one. Oh, I know why I didn't have them is because I had how many Thin Mints in the car? I had 2, 40 calories a piece, so I was 80. A little later, I think I had 1. I wanted another one, obviously, but I just had 1 more. So 120 calories. I guess it's not bad for a snack, but Thin Mints is not a great 100-calorie snack. No protein in it, lots of sugar, carbs. So that was that. Another reason I didn't have the cupcake. And then I really wanted another piece of pizza. And I thought about it for most of the rest of the time there. And I was like, looking for all the reasons of why I would have the pizza and why I wouldn't have the pizza. I wouldn't have the pizza because of the obvious. It's pizza. It's high calories, high fat, high carb. I mean, pizza really isn't horrendous. But depending on who makes it, where you get it from, it could be worse. Papa John's, not the greatest. And then obviously, you know, it's high calorie if you have more than one slice. So Jax had eaten half of his piece, so I had the other half of his piece. And for me, that was my compromise. Oh, I really want more pizza. Am I gonna have another piece? Am I not? Jax didn't eat the rest of his half. That's perfect. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. I guess it could have been worse. Am I being hard on myself? I don't think I'm being hard on myself, though, because knowing my body and just how I react to eating certain foods, could have gone without that. Now, though, I'm at home. I had one of those Stouffer's spinach, just like the cream spinach, pop in the microwave. I had half of that, and I had a Slim Fast protein shake. I have not counted any of this up in my app yet, so I don't know where my fiber today is. It's awful. That's dog water, so I'm gonna have to figure something out there. My protein I definitely haven't hit yet, so I'm gonna have to address that. I do have chicken thawing, so I'll probably do that. It is getting a little later in the day, so there's not too much more I'm gonna have to eat before bed. And I also really didn't get a lot of steps in today. I was gonna run, but it was a crazy weekend. It was very busy. I'm very tired. I'm really trying to not overdo it with my body because I'm still coming down from this fibro flare, and I don't want to put myself back into it. So, you know, instead of pushing myself a little bit to get my steps in and things like that, I'm not. I was going to do a workout. I may still do a small workout. I would really like to. I think that would be best. I'm not convinced yet that I'm going to do it. So we shall see. But I should be able to eat well the rest of the night. And I do feel good about going into this week. I think I'm going to get back, you know, into my normal healthy routine. It's a little upsetting because over the weekend I definitely made poor choices. And not that I think that set me, like, put my progress in reverse, but I think it definitely has just slowed it down overall. My goal is to lose 10 more pounds by September, and it's July. So that's going to be, I'm really going to have to be disciplined. I'm really going to shoot to be disciplined. And by disciplined, I mean staying in my deficit, maxing my protein first, my fiber first, and then letting the macros come in after that. I don't drink a lot, so, you know, minimizing alcohol, not an issue at all. But it's just going to be the little things, you know, like family events, not overdoing it there. If my kids are having something that might be fine for them, but I know is not best for me, saying no in that times. So, day one. We shall check back in tomorrow and see how it's going then. So if you have watched this, I appreciate you taking the time to see where I am on my journey, where that's going, and I hope that you stay tuned, and I hope I don't disappoint. Have a good night, everyone.